Hello, and welcome to the 224th edition of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Bruckert, and I'm coming to you live here from Casa de Bruckert with another great October beer. We're going to be having one more of these fine, I can never say it, Weihenstephaner is the best way to pronounce it that I've found. We're having the Kristall Weissbier. So you ask, what is a Kristall beer, right? Or Kristall Weissbier. So it's the standard wheat beer, which is obviously rated extremely high, but they basically not pasteurized, but it's filtered or not filtered. So the regular Hefeweizen is an unfiltered beer, which means it has leaves the yeast, some of the yeast, the residual yeast in there, and the proteins, the wheat proteins. And then a filtered beer or a Kristall wheat beer is when they filter out the residual yeast and the proteins, the wheat proteins. So what you get is, instead of getting a somewhat cloudy beer, you get a crystal clear beer or a Kristall beer, right? So let's go ahead and pour this, and let's look at the difference in this beer here. You're still getting a beautiful head, and you're getting a beautiful golden color, but look at how clear that is compared to the Hefeweizen, okay? Now, this is a personal choice that people make to get the Kristall beer or the regular Hefeweizen. I myself personally prefer the Hefeweizen because I do enjoy the additional taste that you get from the residual yeast and the wheat proteins. But not all people, think that's the best. But apparently enough of them do, because we talked about the ratings on this beer compared to, or talked about the ratings on the regular Hefeweizen. I think it's a 98 out of 100, if I remember right. This one is a 91 out of 100, so it doesn't get as high of a rating, even though 91 is still outstanding, and 91 for a wheat makes it even more outstanding because, as I've said before, I don't think they judge wheat beers quite as stringently or quite like they do the other ones. I think there's you get a great wheat beer and it can score much lower than it should for some unknown reason. But this is the #1 rated Kristall beer in the world. So at 91 is the #1 rated filtered wheat in the world. They have the #1 regular wheat in the world and the #1 filtered wheat in the world. So obviously they're doing something right. And the beers are going to be very similar. This is going to be a little bit lighter tasting and a little bit crispier tasting, if you will. Okay, so let's smell it. So it smells almost exactly like the regular Weihenstephaner. I can't ever say it. I don't know what it is. I've got like a mental block on there. But the smells very similar. It's got the cloves, the white cloves, the light banana. There's almost, and I forgot to say this the other day, there's almost like a bubblegum type of scent when you smell it. Yeah, that's the best scent that I can think of, is a bubblegum. It's got a light bubblegum scent in there. So let's waste no time. Let's dig into this. We've been drinking a lot of great beers. That's the great thing about October all the way through the end of the year. We're going to be drinking some darn good beers, because beer, believe it or not, for me it's seasonal because I like certain beers certain times of the year. But also for the beer producers. The German beers will come out in full force with, all kinds of great deals and stuff like that around the October time. But then right after that, you're going to start rolling into the early deliveries of the Belgian Christmas sales and fun stuff like that, and all the Christmas sales from around the US too. But I'm particularly fond of those Belgian Christmas sales we've talked about before. So let's go ahead and just skip right to this beer here. Absolutely, absolutely delicious. Now, I have nothing derogatory to say about this beer. It is absolutely phenomenal. And in a blind taste test, I could probably tell the difference between this one and the other one. Well, certainly if I could look at it, you can see. But I think you do get a little bit of additional flavor from that residual yeast and the wheat proteins that I can pick up. But as far as the quality of the beer, excellent. Absolutely excellent. I could sit around and drink this beauty all day long. And 91, it deserves every bit of that 91, if not more. It deserves to be the best Kristall wheat beer. Another one that's really good if you like this kind of filtered beer, the Tucker makes a Kristall also, which is excellent. So, check it out. But this is, obviously the #1 rated one in the world. So make sure, if you can, if you see it, make sure you get this. Or this pack, we talked about it before. If you see this pack, you get 5 of these 500 milliliter bottles, plus a glass. I think I paid $15.99 for it, which is a deal for this quality of beer. And you get this beautiful glass, which is probably worth a good $10, $12 in its own, by itself. Maybe 15, you never know. But anyway, it's a value, and I have been truly enjoying every beer out of the pack. We do have one more beer left out of there, and I don't know if I'll do it on the next edition of Beer Issues or save it for a little while. But one way or another, we're going to have it before October is over, I do believe. Not that you can't drink German beer year-round, because you definitely can, okay? Now, if you've enjoyed this, make sure you tell your friends about Beer Issues and how much fun we're having talking about great beer and drinking great beer. Make sure if you want any cool Beer Issues gear like hats, phone cases, t-shirts, fanny packs, you name it, go to shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues.